world-famous Universal Studios tour. How we doing today, y'all? We doing good? Are we excited for the tour? Yeah. Are we excited to be out of line and sitting on a tram? Yeah. That's what I figured. Now, folks, you must be wondering, who is that lovely person behind the mic? She must be super cool, super pretty, and she is because it's me. Hello, hi. My name is Frank. I am going to be your tour guide today. Now, folks, we're going to start heading on out in just a few moments. But before we head on out to our lot, does everybody have a pair of these super snazzy, super stylish 3D glasses? Ooh, If you don't have a pair of 3D glasses, go ahead and raise your hand high with the air, wave it around like you just don't have a pair. And one of our lovely studio tour ambassadors will grab you a pair ASAP. Now, also, while we're waiting, this is a great time to move any small children whose feet do not touch the ground into the center of your row. We want to make sure everybody is safe here today. Now, luckily for you guys, I am not driving this tram today. I have a super awesome driver joining us here today. Everybody say hi, Monica.
Hi, Monica.
Monica's going to be taking care of us so that we don't have to walk the over 400 acres of land we have here on our Now, y'all are coming at a great time because we are currently celebrating 60 years of our studio tour right now. So usually our lot is decorated, but right now for our 60th, we have some fun little elements on it. So keep your eyes peeled. You never know who or what you might see. But are we celebrating anything else today in addition to 4th of July? Of course, any birthdays on board, maybe? Maybe? What about anniversaries? Any anniversaries? First dates? Last dates? Divorces? I'm just trying to cover all my bases here, folks. Well, it looks like we are ready to go. So turn to your left-hand side and wave goodbye to all those nice people. Bye-bye, everyone. We'll miss you. Bye, Victor. Now, before we get too far, I do want to go over a few safety rules for you. So first, if you need guest assistance or you have a medical emergency, or you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or have any sound or video issues, reach up and grab the red E-cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it is safe to do so. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please stay seated and keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Remember to use the right cord above your head if you need any assistance. The studio is private property, and for any time during the tour you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the cord and remain seated. Please no smoking or vaping of any kind during the tour. Also be prepared, our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, many water effects. You want to have your cameras out for great photo opportunities, but keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. Finally, for your safety and those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you are on board. Now that out of the way, let's get our 60th anniversary studio tour on the road. To help kick us off, here is our master of ceremonies, the host of the Tonight Show, Mr. Jimmy Fallon. Take it away, Jimmy.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon. Welcome aboard the world-famous studio tour. I know what you're thinking. Why the tux? Well, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. That's right, 60 years of glitz, glamour, and our own great white shark. As we celebrate our diamond anniversary today, we'll pay tribute to Universal's past and take you behind the scenes to discover why this studio tour is world famous. So whether this is your first visit or your 60th, get ready for fun, excitement, and an experience like no other.
And what is more fun and exciting than a little history lesson on the Universal lot? So on March 15th, 1915, our founder, Carl Lemley, who's up on your screen right now, invited the public into the studio to watch some of the movies being made. Guests could watch, present to set, and marvel at the new technology involved in filmmaking. But with the invention of sound and the need for quiet on set, the original walking tour ended. However, in the 1960s, under the leadership of company chairman Lou Wasserman, executives outdoors given Jay Stein, the idea of reviving a tour of our studio returned when the Grey Light bus tours originating in Hollywood made a stop on our gates. And on July 15, 1964, the first of our regular candy shrimp glamour trams took 67 passengers on a 2-hour driving tour of the Universal lot, and the world-famous studio tour was born. We started with 2 drivers, 2 guides, and 1 ticket seller working out of a trailer on Lancashire Boulevard. From there, the studio tour expanded with fantastic one-of-a-kind Hollywood elements, the burning house and the rock slide, which were in this area of the lot back in the 1970s and 80s. Now you may have noticed you are on board a very special tram today because you are on board the newest version of our tour vehicle, the electric zero-emission studio tour fleet. Electric tram gets their power from a wireless inductive charging pads, just like the ones your cell phones have, only much larger, and like an electric car, we have regenerative braking. So every time we go downhill during this tour, we also get people in charge. We're no strangers to innovation when it comes to our tour vehicles. We started with those Glamour trams back in 1964, and in 1983 we upgraded to our Super trams, allowing us to carry more guests and experience more thrills. In 2000, we added onboard video, turning our tram into a movie theater on wheels. But currently, we are heading on down into what we call our front lot, where between our movie studio and our theme park. So over on your right-hand side is the back side of our lower lot. That is where Super Nintendo World is, with Mario and Luigi, the stars of our biggest film of 2023, the Super Mario Brothers movie. But this is also where studio tour guests had a chance to explore facets of Hollywood not accessible to the public before 1964. They could visit the office of Oscar-winning costume designer Edith Head, or drive through the prop warehouse on the tram, and by the 1980s, this was home to the Preview Center. It was a popular stop on our tour that included a trip to our special effects stage. And over on your left-hand side, you're seeing just a few of our great sound stages here on our lot. Now, the sound stages on our lot have been used for a ton of great productions over the years, including our 11th Best Picture Oscar winner, Oppenheimer. These sound stages in particular have been used to film TV shows like Hacks on Max, starring Gene Smart and Hannah Einbinder, as well as Season 3 of the Peacock original series, Bel Air, starring Barry Banks and Ollie Showalter.
Leaving the theme park behind and entering the front lot. Real Hollywood magic is made. How? Well, inside the sound stages that surrounds us, we can create any kind of environment this really demands.
For the past 60 years, studio tour visitors have driven right by these buildings, and inside these walls, the sets from your favorite TV shows and movies have transported audiences anywhere the imagination can take you, even to a palatial mansion in Bel Air.
When we film Bel Air, we love coming out of the sound stages and seeing the trams filled with excited guests as they drive by.
So, keep an eye out. You never know who or what you'll see on the studio tour.
Thanks, Jabari. Thanks, Ollie. Coming up on your left-hand side, you are about to see our post-production offices here on our lot. Now, there are 3 phases to a production. We have pre-production, we have the actual filming, and then we have post-production. Post-production is when we'll take all that great footage that we got during filming and edit it all together so that you can watch it at home and on the big screen. And over on your right-hand side, we got a few more of those great sound stages. Now, you might be wondering, what is a sound stage? A sound stage is essentially a giant empty warehouse. It is a blank canvas for productions to come in and dress up however they like. They have full control. These sound stages in particular are currently being used to film season 2 of the TV show based on a true story. But also coming up on your right, you're going to see my very good friends, the Minions, and they're so excited because their new movie, Despicable Me 4, just came out yesterday. But speaking of Illumination Films, we have the creator of Illumination, Chris Melanotri, to tell you about the production bungalows coming up on your left-hand side.
In the early days of the studio, these bungalows were used as dressing rooms to the stars of Hollywood's golden age. Now, they're used as offices where some of Hollywood's top directors, writers, and producers work their magic to get a production ready, including my company, Illumination. At Illumination, we've made some of the most successful animated films in box office history, including Despicable Me, The Lorax, The Secret Life of Pets, Minions, Sing, The Grinch, and the Super Mario Brothers movie. And the team is hard at work again as we launch our next film, Despicable Me 4. Hello, everybody! It's my boy! I know you love your dada! Go on and say it.
Yes, of course he loves you. He just doesn't show it on his face or with his body language.
We've had some really good sequences in Despicable Me movies. The heist of the Honey Badger is now officially my favorite movie. What it comes down to is the emotional through line, and I believe that that's why these movies have stayed in people's hearts.
Quickly looking out to your left, you're going to see those production bungalows that Chris was talking about. That is home to production companies like Mark Platt Productions, which is bringing us the brand new Wicked movie, which comes out later this fall on November 22nd. They just upped the release date by a few days. But currently, over on your left-hand side, we are passing by 2 of our newest sound stages here on our lot. Sound stages 25 and 26. Now, you may notice these sound stages look a little different than ones we were just passing by. That's because these sound stages have offices and dressing rooms in the front and the sound stages over in the back. But inside of these sound sound stages, they film a ton of great TV shows, including Lopez versus Lopez and a brand new TV show coming soon to NBC called St. Dennis Medical. But these sound stages were first used back in 2016 for NBC's production of Hairspray Live. They started inside of these sound stages and then later transitioned over to our Metropolitan sets.
We're about to cross the imaginary boundary onto the back lot, where we have exterior sets for many outdoor scenes. Over the last 60 years, studio tour guests have seen these locations turned into big cities, quiet suburbs, even that guy's hometown. Yeah, that guy. For countless movies and TV shows. This is Universal's Metro Sets.
If you peek over to your right-hand side, you'll see the exterior sets of St. Dennis Medical. That's a new show that's coming out later this year. So feel free to snap a picture, and then you'll have it by the time the show comes out. You can compare and contrast. But the road that we're on right now is very special because this road leads to one of the most famous parts of our lot, our Courthouse Square.
Welcome to the Courthouse Square. These sets were used to create Hill Valley in the Back to the Future films.
And they represented multiple time periods, 1985, 1955, and the far, far distant future, 2015. To this day, this is one of the most popular sets on Universal Studio Tour.
We had a lot of fun making those films here on the lot. I wonder what it'd be like to go back to those days. If only we had a time machine.
Hey everybody, do you think we can get this tram up to 88 miles per hour? See you in the future.
Well, folks, we are currently heading on into Courthouse Square, which was used as Hill Valley, California for the Back to the Future films. And coming up on your left-hand side, you are going to see that iconic time machine sitting in front of our City Hall, with that clock tower still right up on top. This is where they filmed all those famous scenes from Back to the Future and its sequels. Very cool, right? But,
Great Scott! It appears as though you've stumbled upon my time machine. I've been looking for it ever since I misplaced it last week. Or is it next week? Anyway, if you see me later, be sure to remind me where I left it. No, wait! Don't tell me! That could be a past version of me. It could completely create a major paradox that can destroy the space-time continuum. So if you see me, do not tell me. Now, I'm sending you back to your studio tour.
sounds good, Doc. Well, folks, our Courthouse Square sets are very special for many different reasons. Obviously, one of the main reasons being its use in Back to the Future, but another one of those reasons is the fact that many of the facades used out here were built originally back in the 1940s and they have lasted this long. But the rest of our Metropolitan sets are considerably newer. They were redesigned and rebuilt back in 2008. But before that, this was home to a studio tour classic. To tell you a little bit more about it is one of the stars of Universal's 2005 version of King Kong, Jack Black.
And self-action. Did you know the Metro sets were once the home to Hollywood's biggest star? Right here is where the original studio tour King Kong attraction resided from 1986 until 2008. He stood 30 feet tall and weighed in at 13,000 pounds. Over the years, millions of guests got to meet King Kong face to face as he shook the tram. So close you could feel his hot banana breath. Is that it? I can't believe that's my last line, and the tram moves on to the next thing.
Unfortunately, we must, Jack. But while we are still here in our Metropolitan sets, if you take a look out to your left and your right-hand side, you'll see those facades that I mentioned earlier. I mentioned that word. But facade means front in French. And in movie making, they do this thing where we only build what the camera needs to see. So since we don't need to see the insides of every single one of these buildings on screen, we don't actually build them. A lot of those buildings just have beams holding them up inside. But you can tell that our Metro sets are built to look like the concrete jungle, but these sets are made mostly of chicken wire, plaster, and plywood, and that is for a few reasons. We need these sets that you see out to your left and your right-hand side to be malleable enough so that if we need to change them out for whatever reason, whether it's something as small as changing out the signage on a window, or the color of a door, or something as extravagant as changing out the exterior completely, we can do so with ease, which is what they've done for a ton of different things over the years, including quite a few superhero movies like Captain America, The First Avenger, starring Chris Evans, Spider-Man 2, starring Tobey Maguire, as well as the Amazing Spider-Man POV also showcased their superhero moves in the reality competition show American Ninja Warrior, which filmed right here on our New York street. And from superheroes to superstars, we've had quite a few musicians film music videos out here on our Metro sets, including artists like Jungkook from BTS, who filmed his music video 7 out here, GC from Blackpink filmed her music video Flower out here, Lady Gaga has filmed multiple music videos across our lot as she filmed her Edge of Glory music video out in our courthouse square. Michael Bublé has filmed out here, Jennifer Lopez, I mean the list goes on and on. But my favorite musical moment that happened out here on our Metro sets has to be Disney's Newsies from the 90s, starring a very young Christian Bale. Before he ever made it big as an actor, before American Psycho or Batman, Christian Bale was out here seizing the day as Jack Kelly at Disney's Newsies. The movie was also directed by director Kenny Ortega, who also directed films like Disney's High School Musical, as well as Disney's Descendants, Hocus Pocus. He also did the TV show Julie and the Phantoms, but he also used Arla way back in the day. But here are a few more stars before they got their big break.
Gotta tell you, fellas, I know the juice. The big gig, gigahertz, microhertz, come on, get it. Another time for you guys. Hey, Gramps, I'll have a chalk ball. Have it on the chalk money, a mill, or ball. Maybe so, Doc. More rats than I want to see in my life. Never does anybody find me here.
Now, like Jimmy mentioned before, our metropolitan sets have been used to look like many different cities over the years, including New York, Chicago, London, they were even Paris for Billie Eilish's performance for Amazon Prime Day back in 2021. And that is because, like I mentioned before, our metro sets are very, very malleable. We're able to dress them up to look like any city that we would want them to be. But it looks like we are getting ready to leave our not-so-concrete jungle behind and head on over to a different kind of jungle. We're heading back to Skull Island, everybody. But also at the top of this hill, you are going to get to see a piece of studio tour history. You're going to see our collapsing bridge and the runaway train. The collapsing bridge was a mechanical effect that the trams used to cross. The hydraulic support beams would split, and the bridge would seem to collapse. The runaway train was originally located over on our western set. It used to hurtle toward the tram and come to a screeching halt. But both of these are retired effects that were made for the studio tour 15 years ago. Now, as we get ready to head on back to Skull Island, everybody, just a few friendly safety reminders. Please remember to remain seated with your arms and legs inside of the tram at all times. Hold on tight to those belongings, hats, keys, sunglasses, big donuts, butter beers, regular beers, your cell phones especially. It gets very, very bumpy in here, and if you lose anything in here, I cannot get out of the tram, and we cannot guarantee that those items will return to you safely. So hold on tight. Now, last but not least, folks, please no flash photography. King Kong really needs the paparazzi.
It's the original. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up and finish. And Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from prehistoric times. How can I place it? So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island. And it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, just put them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island. The Universal tram is winding its way through a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island and Maui. The visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife in Skull Island.
That was King Kong 360 3D. You just survived Skull Island. That was brought to us by director Peter Jackson and the team over at Weta Effects on some of the largest 3D screens in the world. Weta Effects are the award-winning visual effects masterminds behind some of your favorite movies and TV shows, including Avatar and Avatar: Way of Water, which is what they won their last Academy Award for. It also works on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit films, and TV shows like Disney's Obi-Wan, HBO's Game of Thrones, and The Last of Us.
A project like the studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side. Working on a movie, we always know what it is. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot.
there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram is driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away. We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting it to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
As we pass through our metro sets once again, we're also going to be passing by this gorgeous monster barrel coming up on your right-hand side. You're going to get an up-close and personal look at it. But this monster barrel was done by local artist Tristan Eaton. Tristan Eaton got his start as a graffiti artist here in Los Angeles, and he did the barrel that you see out on your right-hand side entirely with spray paint, and he did it freehand, which is just incredibly impressive. Now, this monster barrel features just a few of our classic Universal monsters. We have the Wolfman, the Gale-Man, Frankenstein, and his bride, of course. And last but definitely not least, we have Dracula, who started it all. But bouncing over to your left-hand side, in just a few moments, you're going to see a few more of our great sound stages. And you're also going to be able to see the sound stage where they film The Voice. We are bringing back The Voice for a brand new season. They are going into their 26th season this year. So exciting. And we are welcoming two brand new coaches. We have Michael Bublé and Snoop Dogg joining the crew this year. But also coming up on your left-hand side, you're going to see this very large body of water. And that body of water is what we call our Hollywood Ocean. And here in 1973, we added an attraction to our studio tour called Departing on the Red Sea. It was inspired by the classic film The Ten Commandments, A Paramount Picture, and the star of the movie Charlton Heston came the waters for our guests on opening day. The glamour transit driver right through it, give everybody on board a sea-level view.
This tram is overloaded. Tell them they can walk on water. It's part of the tour.
And our Hollywood Ocean has been used for quite a few other things over the years, including one of our monster movies, Lake Richard-funding Black Lagoon. This movie celebrates its 70th anniversary this year. It's part of our long-lasting legacy of monster movies, starting with Dracula all the way back in 1931 to now, with us getting ready to open up Dark Universe and Universal Epic Universe next year in Orlando. We just released a ton of new information about it. So if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely do so. It looks very, very cool. But coming up in just a few moments, we are going to be arriving in our Little Europe sets. And our Little Europe sets are so special because they are the birthplace of the Universal Monster movie. All those great monsters walk these very streets back in the day. But these are called our Little Europe sets for a very obvious reason. That reason being, we're able to dress up these sets to look like any country in Europe that we would like. Whether that be France, Italy, Germany. They've also been used as the fictional country of Genovia for Disney's Princess Diaries 2, The Royal Engagement. These are the streets where young Abigail Breslin tells Princess Mia Thermopolis that she's too little, too piccola. But you may also recognize them as the streets of the afterlife for NBC's The Good Place, starring Ted Danson and Kristen Bell.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Come on.
This location, afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
And going back very briefly to Princess Diaries 2, the movie was produced by the legendary Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston really believed in empowering women's stories, and one of the ways that she did that was by producing female-led films, like Princess Diaries and other movies like The Cheetah Girls. But Whitney Houston also used those sets back in 1997 for Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, starring herself and Brandy. If you remember at the beginning of the film when they were singing about how the prince is giving a ball, it was filmed all out on our Little Europe sets. But most iconically, our Little Europe sets have been home to many a monster movie over the years, including Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Dracula, the Invisible Man, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Phantom of the Opera. I mean, the list goes on and on, But it looks like we have a little bit of a surprise for you because it is a holiday. The cast and crew of this new rom-com filming inside of our Soundstage 50 are on a break today. So we get to do a little bit of a set visit. Now, these ago supposed to be the love interest in this movie. Again, don't tell anyone I told you that. But while we are in here, folks, please remember to remain seated with your arms and legs inside of the tram at all times. Hold on tight to those belongings as well. We can't let them know that we were in here. But as you take a look on out, you're going to see they have transformed the inside of the soundstage to look like a subway station from San Francisco. And we all have their equipment set up. We also have their makeup, costume. Hello? Okay, no need to panic, everybody. Just a little California tremor. This happens all the time. That attraction originally opened 35 years ago, back in 1989, and we have given it a complete Hollywood makeover just in time for our 16th anniversary. Now, before we get too far, I do want to let y'all know that we are approximately at the halfway mark of our tour, so just a friendly reminder to everyone to please remember to remain seated at all times. The studio is private property, and if you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, call that red cord to get my attention, and I will be glad to assist you. But please do remain seated on the tram. Now, to make up for the fact that I lied about the whole earthquake situation, I'm going to make it up to you with a little trip over to the beach. Now, it is 4th of July, so this is the perfect time to go to the beach, and I know just the place. We're heading on into Amity Island, and even better, nobody's at this beach. Is that reason because there was a shark infestation here the other day? Maybe. But don't even worry about it. I've already sent my good friend George out to the water to make sure everything's all clear. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing. So we're going to head on in. We're going to say hi to George. Hey, George. George? Does anybody hear that weird music? Oh no. Okay. So that's not George. That's a shark. George? Oh, there he is. He's got it. You got it handled, right, George? That sounds like he's handling it. Or maybe not. Okay, well, you know what? It's too late for him. It's not too late for us. So we're going to hide behind these red barrels. Yeah, those are shark-proof. Just met Bruce the shark, everybody. Hey, Bruce. Now, does anybody happen to know what kind of shark Bruce is? You can yell it out if you know it. Anybody? Great white? That is a great guess. He is actually made of plastic. Bruce is one of the hardest working team members here on our lot. 365 365 days a year, rain or shine. Bruce shows up every single day, and he always gives it his all. The same cannot be said of the mechanical shark that they used to film Jaws. That shark sunk to the bottom of the ocean on its very first day of filming. Talk about a bad first impression, right? But from one classic attraction to the next, we're now heading on into our Old Mexico sets. And to welcome us on Andy's Today Show, co-hosted weather anchor Al Roker.
When it comes to film and TV, that's a little bit. To demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1960. Welcome to the only part of the back lot with a 100% chance of rain. The flash flood.
Thank you so much, Al. Well, folks, as you can tell, we are putting on a little bit of a rainstorm for y'all. Now, we're adding in all these rainstorm elements so that you would be full effect. However, thunder is something we would typically add in post-production. But I think that's enough rain for now. So on the count of 3, we're all going to yell cut, okay? 1, 2, 3. Cut! Let's try one more time, a little bit louder. Everybody. 1, 2, 3. Cut! Oh no. Oh no. No. That's not what we meant. Oh boy. Okay. Good luck, car 3 and 4. But it was also used in the movie Big Fat Liar, starring Academy Award nominee Paul Giamatti. And you know what? Sometimes the road to the Oscars is through a flash flood. Just ask Paul. Now, if you've never seen Big Fat Liar, it is currently streaming on Netflix, so definitely go watch it. It's a great movie to watch after you've taken our studio tour today. You're going to see a lot of the things you saw on the tour in that movie. So when you get home tonight, get in bed, put on Netflix, put on Big Fat Liar, and then you can thank me later. But if you take a look out to your left-hand side, or right-hand side, we're going up this hill. And coming up on your right-hand side, you're going to see this very lovely house at the top of this hill. That is what we call our chicken ranch. Now, there are no chickens at our chicken ranch, but this is still a very special set because this is what we would call a practical set, which means we can film both inside and outside. The counterpart to this would be those facades that we saw earlier. There is a more clear visual of a facade behind our chicken ranch. You're going to see in just a few moments. There's about half a house there. That's also about as much as one can afford here in Los Angeles, so very appropriate. But our chicken ranch has been used for a ton of great things over the years, including movies like The Best Little Horror House in Texas, starring with Dolly Parton, as well as TV shows like Quantum Leap. But coming up on your left-hand side, you're going to see this very lovely line of state signs. Now, you might remember that the line of states is where Marty McFly lived in the Back to the Future trilogy. And these signs are replicas of the original props that were made for the 30th anniversary of the first film. The first film just turned 39 yesterday. How exciting. But Back to the Future was produced by director Steven Spielberg, who directed movies like Jaws, Jurassic Park, and one of my personal favorites, which is the remake of West Side Story starring Rachel Zegler. But we've had a really great long-standing relationship with Steven Spielberg over the years. We're driving up Steven Spielberg Drive right now. But he has some very funny stories about how he used to come onto this lot as a kid, and I'm going to let him explain a little bit more himself.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days, there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. This was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. In those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot and had the most amazing day of my life.
And from sneaking onto this lot as a kid to now having his movies memorialized here at both attractions and sets, we are currently heading on in to the set of Steven Spielberg's film War of the Worlds. So when you take a look on out, you're going to see that is indeed a real airplane. It was a retired plane that was purchased just for the film for $60,000. But it cost $200,000 for them to deconstruct this plane into small enough pieces in order to transport it here to our lot. Now that was because it was too large. It wasn't going to fit on the highway under the overpass, and they had to make sure it was broken down into these smaller pieces in order to be transported here safely. But this is another example of what we would call a practical set, in the sense that it is a real tangible set. It's not some big blue screen or some big green screen. This was a set that the actors were really able to interact with. Although this practical set also utilizes the technique of those facades. So those houses that you see out on your left-hand side are not real houses. They're just the fronts of houses. But similarly, the house coming up on your right-hand side, this house is also not a practical set. You cannot film inside of this house. There's only beams holding it up inside. But this is still a very special set because this is the home of Norman Bates from Alfred Hitchcock's film Psycho. This is one of the oldest standing sets in Hollywood. This was here when we first opened up our studio tour back in 1964. One of the most iconic sets in horror movie history. But speaking of Hollywood icons, coming up on your right-hand side, you're also going to see our official still replica of the Hollywood sign. Now, if you would like a photo with this Hollywood sign, now's going to be the perfect time to do so, because we are going to have you disembark our tram in just a few moments. Now, this is a limited stop for a limited time. This is a limited time opportunity for our 60th anniversary. So, folks, when you disembark our tram, please gather all of your personal belongings, including your 3D glasses. You will need them once more for when you resume your tour. We also recommend keeping your entire party together so you can get on the same tram together. There is no guarantee that you're going to get back on this exact tram in your exact seat. So if I don't see you again, I'm going to be signing off. My name is Trang. That's T-R-A-N-G if you loved it. And if you hated it, my name is Bruce the Shark. That's B-R-U-C-E. But thank you so much for hanging out today, everybody. Hope you had a great time. Enjoy the rest of your day here. Go get some great photos. Now, if you feel particularly attached to me, you are welcome to stay on board. But I do want to encourage you to get some great photos while we have this opportunity going on. So thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.